Cubemajigs are reusable gaming packs for cube sideboards and other games. New designs from your favorite MTG artists are launched every Monday, so go check them out at cubemajigs.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Goldfish Gladiator. So this week, we are heading into the Wilderness Reclamation, I guess, to play some Temur control. You might remember this deck. We did an instant deck of it like a week ago. In this deck, it is a pretty busted Wilderness Reclamation deck, but we're not really a Nexus of Fate Infinite turn deck. We do have one Nexus, just kind of for value, because it does work well with Wilderness Reclamation, but really, we're trying to use Wilderness Reclamation to double our mana to cast massive expansion explosions, also to make a ton of birds with Murmuring Mystic by casting a bunch of instants each turn. So that's the plan for the deck, like usual, because we already did a full instant deck for Temur control. Just gonna do a quick 2-minute refresher deck, jump right into the game. So a quick reminder before we break down Temur control for standard. If you enjoy this deck and you enjoy Goldfish Gladiators in general, it would be so cool of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk Temur control, starting with kind of the big reason this deck exists, which is Wilderness Reclamation. So Wilderness Reclamation, pretty straightforward, just untaps all of our lands at the beginning of our end step. The idea of Wilderness Reclamation in this deck is to basically use it to double up our mana with the help of a bunch of instants. So like I said, we do have one Nexus of Fate, but we're not a infinite turns combo deck. It's just kind of like a one-of for value. The real plan of this deck is to use Wilderness Reclamation to cast absurdly big expansion explosions. So if we get, let's say, 5 lands on the battlefield, we go to our end step, we tap all of our lands, then Wilderness Reclamation untaps them, we can tap them all again. That's going to give us 10 mana, which is 5 lands. We can be doing this as early as turn 5, even earlier if we have some ramp in the early game. So that's just a huge expansion explosion, dealing a bunch of damage to our opponent, drawing us a bunch of cards, which hopefully finds us another expansion explosion to do it again the next turn. And it gets even crazier with more Wilderness Reclamations because they all stack up and keep untapping in between. So that's the main plan of the deck. The other plan of the deck, kind of the backup plan, Murmuring Mystic just makes a bird whenever we cast an instant or sorcery. So with Wilderness Reclamation doubling up our mana, we can cast a ton of ops and growth spirals and radical ideas and chemist's insight, make a huge board full of birds, and just beat down our opponent in the air. Growth spiral, also really key with Wilderness Reclamation. On turn 2, we can cast it, ramp up to 3 mana, turn 4, Wilderness Reclamation, and that gets us to that turn 5, cast a expansion explosion to deal 6 damage, draw 6 cards, just really take over the game super quick. Otherwise, for defense, Shivan Fires for early game creatures, Root Snares to just slow our opponent down. Again, we're not going Turbo Fog Infinite, but we do need a way to just not die in the early game where we're setting up our big expansion explosions. Mana base, a bunch of shock lands, some of the check lands, a couple of basic lands. As far as the sideboard, Niv Mizzet comes in the control matchups. Raptor Hatching, really good against mono red aggro, blocking twice because the dinosaur comes and actually grows after it takes damage. Rexage, Broken Bond for artifacts and enchantments. Spell Pierce, Negate, Firemind's Research, kind of our control package, and that is Temur control for standard, and that's our Goldfish Gladiators deck for this week. So let's jump into the gameplay, see if we can actually make this crazy deck work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. Alright, Goldfish Gladiators time. We are trying some Temur control in standard, and we'll give this a shot. We have a chemist's insight. We got some removal. We don't have a Wilderness Reclamation to really go off, but yeah, let's play it carefully. Just Breeding Pool tap past the turn. We could have shocked ourselves to Growth Spiral, but maybe Growth Spiral was the reason to just play Breeding Pool turn 1. All right, there's a Steamkin. I mean, this is fine. We still get to just kill Steamkin, which is good. Untap. Opt. Well, Growth Spiral. Put Assault falls into play. Opt. We do really want to land. This is a lot of... Alright, there's a Hinterland Harbor. I mean, Expansion Explosion is going to be sweet eventually, theoretically. We have a few more of them than we really want, but... Alright, Steamkin Part 2. Opponent passes. Well, let's Chemist's Insight. Play the land. Pass the turn. Now we're mostly looking for a Wilderness Reclamation, so we can kind of like start going off with Expansion Explosion, so to speak. Opponent, wow, gets in. Light up the stage. The Steamkin is an issue. Opponent, Electrostatic Field, Tormenting Voice. Oh, that's what they're doing. This is the mono red Phoenix deck we play. This deck is really spicy. All right, opponent discards a land, draws 2. We really need to kill this Steamkin. Well, let's opt. Oh, all right. Well, that's Wilderness Reclamation. We will keep that. Untap. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Untap our lands, pass the turn. All right. So we're getting close to where we want to be. Opponent, land. The question is if we just die here, which is not impossible. Gutter Snipe. Yep. Getting worse. Opponent's got lots of mana. It is possible they just kill us here. Gutter Snipe, burn spells. 3 mana, Warlord's Fury. Hits us. Yeah, this might be the end. Down to 17. Cast an Arclight. Alright. That's a lot of damage. Well, let's Chemist's Insight. Discard Radical Idea. Ooh. Well, Root Snare is something. That might be enough. So we drop to 11. Draw Hinterland Harbor. All right. So how do we do this? Go in full control mode. Play Hinterland Harbor. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Resolves. Pass the turn. Yep, double trigger. So float 2. Untap. Let's just let's Expansion Explosion. X3. Kill Steamkin. Draw 3. We also need to not time out, which is looking a little more challenging than we'd like. Yep. Add mana. Resolves. Kill Steamkin. Draw 3. Float a mana. Untap. Expansion Explosion. Gutter Snipe. X2. Yep. Oh, we should have went X3. Oh my god. Alright, well, kill it. We're running out of time is the problem. Pass the turn. Discard a card. Well, we did it without timing out. We still could be dead. Opponent has a land. Hits us to 8. Ooh, they got a lot of burn. All right, we did not get burnt out. So now we get to make a lot of birds. Can we kill our opponent? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21. So we can't quite kill our opponent. So let's Murmuring Mystic. Radical Idea. Discard Stomping Ground. Make a bird. I mean, we're going to have a wall of defense now. The question's going to be, can our opponent burn us out? So go back to full control mode. Ooh, Shivan Fire is not bad. All right, pass the turn. End of turn. Wilderness Reclamation. Float a mana. Resolves. Now we Chemist's Insight. draw 2, make a bird. Ah, this deck is sweet. We still might get burnt out. Draw 2 cards. Land. Chemister's Insight. Discard a land, make a bird. This is where the deck gets the kind of combo-y feel. Bird number 3, draw 2 cards. Alright. Untap. Shivan Fire, Arclight Phoenix. Make a bird. Just so we don't have to discard. Alright, no timeout. No timing out. Alright, resolves. Yup. Wow, it opponent scoops it up. Too many birds, too many birds. Huh! We were right on the edge of maybe dying that entire game, but we got there. We did get there. All right, opponent's playing, essentially like, I guess it's Memekin, Mono Red Phoenix. What do we have that's good against this deck? Any early game removal is good. Raptor Hatchling is normally our mono red hate, but I don't think it's good against this build of mono red, honestly. Broken Bond, no. Rexage, no. Maybe like Spell Pierces or Negates? Although, exactly what we're going to cut for them is another question. We need our payoffs. Let's 2 Spell Pierce. Go down 1 Expansion Explosion and 1 Radical Idea. And a couple Negates. Go down 1 more Expansion Explosion. 1 more Radical Idea. Try it like that. Little bit light on the card draw, but hopefully we're all right. We got to keep ourselves from getting insanely burnt out, which is the main challenge. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to mulligan that. 1 land's not going to get it done. All right, this is better. We don't have much removal, but we'll see. Opponent. Passing. Well, Island, Goo. So I guess we're mostly looking for Wilderness Reclamation already. Opponent. There's the Steamkin. Or actually removal for Steamkin is good. Root Snare to the bottom for now. That's not real removal. Yeah, there's the Steamkin. That's a Shivan Fire. Alright. Play a land. Shivan Fire Steamkin. That's fine. It costs us the ability to... Well, I guess we could have Growth Spiral too, but that's fine. That was actually probably a slight misplay. We probably should have just land Growth Spiral, then also killed Steamkin. Opponent, light up the stage, land, and Gutter Snipe for next turn. So we're going to need to kill Gutter Snipe too. Well, let's play the land, play the Growth Spiral, play Breeding Pool, tapped. All right, I mean, that's Wilderness Reclamation. We're still at 18. Opponent's definitely Gutter Sniping this turn. Well, we'll see what we draw. Gutter Snipe, land. Yep, opponent passes. Spell Pierce isn't the worst, so play Hinterland Harbor. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Pass the turn. Leave up our Spell Pierce. Next turn, we can just fire off a huge Expansion Explosion, and hopefully that is enough to get us to where we need to be. Gutter Snipe represents a lot of damage. All right, opponent shocks for 4. Yep, down to 14. Skewers for 5. Yeah, we still can't counter that. Ooh, down to 9. Oh my god. Still can't counter. Well, this is the power of Gutter Snipe. We're at 4. Virtual 2. Gets in. Yeah. Well, play Sulfur Falls. Go in full control. Pass the turn. Yeah. Float some mana. I don't think this is going to be enough. Anything kills us at this point. So float all of our mana. Untaps. You could see the power of, Gutter Snipe in this deck. Well, Expansion Explosion, X8, Gutter Snipe. We get to draw a ton of cards, but we are dead to literally anything. Yep. So we refill our hand. I guess if we just don't die somehow, this is good for the future. Ugh. All right. Pass the turn, discard a Steam Vents, discard a Breeding Pool, discard a Hinterland Harbor. I mean, we have counters if we somehow get another turn. We'll see. Opponent. Are we dead? Draws. Mountain. All right, passes. So we're staying alive. We are staying alive, which is good. So play Wilderness Reclamation. Go back into full control mode. Now we need a payoff. Good. Oh, we're getting the GGs? Well, good game if you want to scoop. We don't have Nexuses, so we don't actually combo kill like some decks. Well, float mana. Blue, blue, blue. Resolves. Chemister's Insight. Discard a... we don't have to discard yet. Draw a couple cards. Ooh, all right, there's Mystic for next turn. Chemister's Insight. Discard a Rootbound Crag. Draw a couple cards. And, all right. Yeah, we'll just pass. Pass the turn. Discard Hinterland Harbor. All right, opponent. Let's see what you got. Opponent. Mountain. Oh, passing? Okay. Well, that bodes well. So play Sulphur Falls. Play Murmuring Mystic. Opt. Make a bird. We'll grow Spiral. That's fine. Pass the turn. We're not going to grow Spiral here because we got to leave up this negate forever. So, Wilderness Reclamation. Float a couple mana. Untap. Grow Spiral. Make a bird. Draw a card. Put a land into play. Tapped. Float a bunch of mana. We are going to Expansion Explosion here, I think. So float a bunch of mana. Untap. And then, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13. So Expansion Explosion for 9? We want to leave up as many interactive spells as possible. So 9 you, draw 9. Pair mana, hopefully no timing out. This deck is a slightly not the smoothest to play, I guess, on Arena. We get a bird, which is a nice bonus. Hit our opponent for 9, draw a million, or 9. Alright. Pass the turn. Discard, Stomping Grounds, Breeding Pool, Rootbound Crag, Murmuring Mystic, Grow Spiral, Nexus of Fate. Alright. I mean, we should be good to just win this turn. Arclight Phoenix, sure. That's fine. Opponent. Attacks. Well, let's just Root Snare, make a bird. Take 0. Opt. Make a bird. And Shivan Fire. And opponent scoops it up! Whoo! Well, that was close. We probably got a little bit lucky to fade some of our opponent's draw steps, but I mean, that's what the deck is trying to do. It's a really fun way to go off with Wilderness Reclamation. I think, at least comparatively, compared to just comboing off with Nexus of Fate, making a bunch of birds with Murmuring Mystic seems a lot more fun. Alright, Raging Goblin. Well, that makes me think red deck, but we'll see. Alright. This is fine. Having 2 tap lands, a little annoying, but we got some cantrips. We have our Mystics. No Wilderness Reclamation, though. Island. Oh, mono blue? Alright. Well, we'll see how that goes. Stomping Ground, untapped. Pass the turn. Mono blue seems like an interesting matchup. Opponent opts. Well, let's grow Spiral. Sulfur falls into play. I mean, ugh, I think it's all going to be about whether we resolve a Mystic. Opponent. If we resolve a Mystic, we can fight through counterspells forever. Because even if our stuff gets countered, we're still getting the bird. So I think if this is mono blue... Oh, all right. Mountain. Oh, Electromancer. Well, Sulfur Falls Mystic. Pass the turn. Opponent gets to untap with their Electromancer, unfortunately. So it looks like it's actually Izzet Drakes. I haven't seen Electromancer in a while. Electromancer seems to have mostly fallen out of favor in these decks. Looks like our Mystic's gonna live. And untapping with Mystic is good. Maybe we can just outbird our opponent. All right, there's an Arclight and an Electromancer milled. Discovery. Well, let's see how many... Okay, no Arclight off that one. Mills 2 lands. Gets in. Yeah. We want no part. We want no part of that. Alright. Well, this is a slightly greedy line, but let's just Mystic Land go. Actually, Mystic Land, get in for one. Mystic beats. Just how we drew it up. Alright, opponent. Chart of course. So our opponent's going to have a good turn this turn. But hopefully we can catch up next turn, ideally. Chart of course. Yeah, Arclight number 2. Alright, so 2 Arclights are coming back. But we're going to get to start making birds. Opponent, combat. Arclights for days. Yup. Well, we're going to take it. No blocks. Down to 8. Opponent passes. Well, that's a radical idea. See if we can draw a land. Make a couple birds. Draw expansion explosion. Alright. Well, pass the turn. There is some risk of us just getting straight up burnt out. 8 is not that much in a world of shocks and lightning strikes, potentially. Shocks a bird. Well, we don't really care about this. We would actually much rather have our opponent be shocking our birds than our other creatures. Opponent, swings. Well, let's root snare. Make some birds. Alright, resolve, so no blocks. Another Electromancer. Opponent passes. Well, radical idea. See if we can draw a land. We're having a tough time finding a land. Alright, bird. Ugh, more expansion explosion. Well, go to combat. Get in for 2. Opponent down to 15. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Chart of course. Alright, resolves. There's some temptation to copy that, but opponent discards a land. Plays a land. Ops. Okay. To the top, draws a card. Beacon Bolt a Mystic. Actually, oh no. So yeah, let's copy that. Kill an Electromancer. They can probably kill our... Ooh, our other Mystic lives. All right. Well, that could have went worse. What do we do? Well, play Stomping Ground tapped. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent untaps. Beacon Bolt's Mystic. Well, let's copy it. Make a bird. Kill Electromancer. Opponent casts Radical Idea. Why, it's cheap. Okay. And then we will Radical Idea. Discard Root Snare. Make a bird. Alright. Well, Mystic down. Opponent passes. Ooh, Wilderness Reclamation. I'll play Wilderness Reclamation. Resolves. No attacks. End of turn. Float some mana. And yeah, let's Nexus. Opponent Radical Ideas. Okay. Now we would like another Expansion Explosion. Or something along those lines. Untap. Well, Radical Idea. Draw a card. Radical Idea. Draw a card. Radical Idea. Discard Breeding Pool. Draw a card. Play Hinterland Harbor. Pass the turn. Float a mana. Untap. Growth Spiral. Draw a card. We're not going to do that. And alright, pass the turn. We have many birds, but these phoenixes are holding down the fort for our opponent. Opponent. Chart of course. Draws some cards. Alright, maximize velocity. We still have one more Mystic somewhere, and 2 more Expansion Explosions. Terramander. Well, that's going to be a 5/5. I think our opponent's thinking about just giving it haste and making it a 5/5, but they choose not to. Alright, well, Radical Idea. Discard a land. Well, that is Expansion Explosion. Alright, untap. Ooh, Shivan Fire. Well, pass the turn. Yeah, this is our time to try to do something. So, end of turn, Wilderness Reclamation on the stack. So, tap our mana. X3. Untap our mana. Alright. Opponent Terramanders. Well, we untap. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we want to leave up Spell Pierce mana. Or mana to pay for Spell Pierce. Yeah. So let's Explosion. X8. On Terramander. Draw cards. Rapidly click our mana as quickly as possible. Yep. Alright. Oh, Radical Idea. Alright, so it resolves. Opponent draws a card, but we draw 8 cards. And there's a Mystic. That's what we wanted. Alright, pass the turn. Discard a Steam Vents. Ugh, and a Growth Spiral. Well, Steam Vents and Root Snare. Alright. Well, we might be good again. We're back to having a Mystic. We just refilled our hands. We have another Expansion Explosion. We got rid of the Pteramander, so I think we might be back to being favored here. Opponent draws a card. We still have one Nexus of Fate to win the game outside of what we have in our hand. We do not have much left. Tormenting Voice resolves. Yep. Opponent's down to 2 mana, though. Pteramander resolves. Opponent. Passing. Well, we're going to just tap our opponent out. Shiv and Fire on Pteramander. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So, Yep. So opponent draws Pteramander. So we get in for 6. Opponent goes to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think we actually just win here with our opponent being tapped out. So go to combat. Attack with everything. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we got it. We got there. Whew. We can just double up this Expansion Explosion, and that will take care of it. So hit our opponent down to 9. Yep. Do nothing. Go to the end of our turn. Float a bunch of mana. And yeah, Expansion Explosion should just finish it here. So float all of our mana. Untap. Expansion Explosion. For 9. Target our opponent. Target us. And whoo, we got there. Well, that was a little scary, but Expansion Explosion comes through. Temur Control. The deck is actually pretty sweet. The deck can do some really cool things. And this is a matchup where we might want to go on more of our controlling plan, honestly. We don't have much more just like removal for their flyers, but Niv Mizzet seems pretty insane. Firemind's Research is probably at least in the conversation. It's slow removal, but it is removal if we can sneak it in. I'm expecting our opponent to bring in more counters, most likely would be what I would expect. We might actually just cut the Nexus of Fate altogether. I don't even know if it's like necessary here, honestly. I mean, I guess it's not really ever bad, but let's go down Nexus of Fate. Go down, do we just have to cut, like, Radical Ideas? Let's go 2 Firemind's Research. Go down 2 Radical Ideas. And 1, we might need the Root Snare. Yeah, I guess we're just cutting Radical Ideas. Radical Idea is really good in the deck, but I don't know if we can avoid cutting some number. Niv Mizzet seems pretty insane after sideboarding. Well, we will keep this, mostly just because we can kill an Electromancer, which is really big. Our opponent not being able to just go off with Electromancer is what we want. Let's Sulfur Falls. This way, if they don't have Electromancer, we can opt Mountain. Shard of Course. Draws some cards. Discards. Arclight Phoenix. Well, Rootbound Craig. You. I mean, I guess we're kind of doing it slowly. Opponent. Mountain. Discovery. Can they find another Phoenix? 2 Phoenixes in the graveyard would be a bit scary. Alright. Mills, Begamote, Pteramander. Well, let's opt. Expansion Explosion to the bottom for now. We actually just want a land. Root Snare. I'll play Rootbound Craig. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Sulfur Falls. Is it big old Drake time? We really need a land off this Growth Spiral. Or at least hit our next 2 draws. Alright, Crackling Drake. Well, Grow Spiral. Ugh, not a land. Okay. Opponent draws. Another opt. Well, we need to opt. We really need to hit a land here. Opt. Radical Idea to the bottom. Land! Land! Oh, dear. Well, Shivan Fire. This is not a way we want to be doing it, but it's all we got. Shivan Fire, Crackling Drake. Shivan Fire, Crackling Drake. Alright, pass the turn. Ew, lots of Wilderness Reclamations. Not many lands at all. And we just spent a huge portion of our removal. Hardcast Arclay Phoenix. Yup, gets it. Opponent passes. Stomping Grounds. Yeah, I mean, we gotta go for it. Stomping Grounds, untapped. Wilderness Reclamation. Do they have a Spell Pierce? They do. Okay. Yup, pass the turn. We're in a pretty fragile spot. Took us a little long to find our land. Opponent gets in down to 12. Electromancer, uh-oh. Passes. Well, Wilderness Reclamation. Negate. Yeah. Yeah. Well, our opponent did get a lot of sideboard cards. We did sideboard in a way to beat their sideboard cards, but not going to work out in this one. Missing that land drop was particularly brutal for us. Oh. Well, now we're just dead if our opponent has spells. 2 Drakes in the grave, or Phoenixes in the graveyard. And 1 on the battlefield. Ooh, boy. Well, alright. Yup. Yeah, we just missed too many land drops for that to actually work. Maybe we can't cut so many. Let's go down to Firemind's Research. Go down 1 Expansion Explosion. Go back up 2 Radical Ideas. I feel like... How many lands does this deck have? Well, it has 25? Maybe that's not actually a concern. I was worried that maybe we just didn't have enough lands, but... Yeah, let's keep the research. Run it like that. I think it was just unfortunate. For some reason, with all the cantrips, I thought maybe we were skimping on lands, but 25 is... That's plenty. That's as many lands as we need. Alright, we'll keep. This is going to be interesting. Stomping Grounds tapped. Pass the turn. So we have our Firemind's Research island for our opponent. Well, Breeding Pool, Firemind's Research. Resolves. But we are again light on lands, which isn't great. Opponent, Charted Course. Come on, land. Land. Grow Spiral. Land. We need a land. Breeding Pool tapped. Well, we did hit a land. We're not making it look pretty, but we are kind of getting towards where we need to be. Opponent. Mountain. Discovery. Ooh, this is the turn. Untap land for Wilderness Reclamation. And then we're just set up. That is exactly what we want. Our opponent's tapped down. We got the Wilderness Reclamation in hand. We just need to draw land. We do not. All right, well, pass the turn. Well, that was a little less good. Island. Yeah, that was pretty disastrous. Opponent passes. Oh, Lord. Well, pass the turn. Still not a land. Radical Idea for our opponent. Oh, boy. Untaps. Well, we got a lot of 4-drops. I will admit. Oh. There's Crackling Drake. That's probably going to beat us. Opponent's leaving up Spell Pierce. Opponent passes. Well, we will opt. Trigger. There's a land. I think it's too late, though. Too late. Pass the turn. Now our... Oh, we had the window. Oh, we had it drawn up exactly 100% how we needed to win the game. Opponent gets in. Yep. But now we're just going to get beaten to a pulp by this Crackling Drake. Down to 14. Yeah, I guess draw a card. Another Murmuring Mystic. Untap. I'll play Sulphur Falls. Play Murmuring Mystic. Gets around Spell Pierces and Negates. Oh, no. Ugh. Well, we tried. Pass the turn. Opponent opts. Ugh, yikes. Well, I guess we got to see the downside of this deck, which is it does have a lot of expensive cards, and if you just do not hit your 4th land drop, it's going to struggle. So for all the insane things it can do, there is a cost to playing so many expensive cards in your deck, and we are seeing a great example of it here. Terramanda for our opponent, which will quickly be a 5/5. Immediately be a 5/5. Yeah. I don't think we can come back from this. Opponent passes, Chemister's Insight, and that be the game. Well, that's magic. That is magic for you. If we hit our land drop on the turn that we Growth Spiraled, I think we win that game going away very easily, but we didn't hit the land drop, and that's why you play the games. Little disappointing to have a 25 land deck and miss that land drop, but like I said, the deck is kind of overloaded on expensive stuff, so it happens sometimes. Well, next. All right, Goldfish Gladiators time. Playing some more Temur Control, and we'll keep this. I mean, we got a Mystic. That's good. We got some card draw if we get to it. See what our opponent's up to. Ugh, Watery Grave. Well, let's Sulphur Falls go. So this, I'm not sure how this goes. I'm expecting this to be Esper Control and probably rough. Oh yeah. Control to the max. Well, take Absorb, I guess. Keep the Breeding Pool. So good news is opponent has a lot of dead cards. Bad news is they have a lot of ways of dealing with our stuff. Breeding Pool tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent. Godless Shrine passes. Well, Breeding Pool untapped. And let's just Chemister's Insight. Wow. Their draw was Negate. All right. Opponent. Glacial Fortress. Passes. Well, let's Chemister's Insight. Discard Shivan Fire. Ooh, no land. All right, pass the turn. Opponent. Another Thought Eraser. Well, opponent looks like they might have missed their land drop. Takes Expansion Explosion. Leaves presumably a land on top. So we do draw a land. Well, yeah, I think we just Steam Vents untapped. Play Murmuring Mystic. Pass the turn. Murmuring Mystic assuredly dying to Mortify immediately. Opponent. Yep, well, we opt. Make a bird. I don't think we want Growth Spiral. We need something more impactful. Ugh. Well, we can discard Shivan Fire to Radical Idea. Opponent passes. Well, let's Growth Spiral. Put Sulphur Falls into play. Play Murmuring Mystic. Get in with a bird. Well, let's see if our opponent hit another removal spell. Apparently they left some non-land on top. Another Mortify. Opponent passes. Well, Radical Idea. Draw a card. Well, play Wilderness Reclamation. Get in with a bird. Wilderness Reclamation is pretty sweet here. Opponent untaps. Main phases Chemister's Insight. Desperate for a land. This is where we want to draw into Expansion Explosion. Finds a land. Well, we get to Radical Idea. Draw a card. Come on! Huge expansion explosion. Ooh, Chemister's Insight. Chemister's Insight. Draw 2 cards. Lands. Untap. Root Snare. Well, Radical Idea. Discard Shivan Fire. Draw a card. Opt. Rootbound Crag, definitely bottom. Into a land. I'll play the land, Chemister's Insight. Discard Root Snare. Well, get in with the bird. Yeah, past the turn. We kind of just fizzled. We cast a lot of spells, but those spells didn't really do a whole lot. Search for Iskanta for our opponent. Passing. I kind of feel like that was our window for a huge expansion explosion. Iskanta's going to immediately flip too. Well, opt. Keep digging through the deck. We definitely do not want Sulfur Falls. And Breeding Pool. Radical Idea. Well, Radical Idea. Draw a card. Ugh, Shivan Fire. Well, Radical Idea. Discard Breeding Pool. Root Snare. Well, go to combat. Get in with our bird. Play Hinterland Harbor. Play Wilderness Reclamation. There's the Absorb. Oh, yeah, we've kind of just really fizzled out here. Pretty incredibly. Opponent, Iskanta. Yup. Flips. Iskanta would probably be good in our deck. Opponent has Teferi. Draws with Teferi. Yeah, and this is where... Well, we'll see what we draw. I'm imagining we're pretty done here. Opponent untaps. We draw nothing. Well, go to combat. I guess another downside of this deck that we're seeing is it's got a lot of just fluff. Like, and admittedly, this is a pretty bad game 1 matchup, I think, where we have a number of dead cards, and our opponent's dead cards aren't really dead. Like, their removal spells kill our Wilderness Reclamations and our Murmuring Mystic, and their counter spells all have legitimate targets. So our opponent doesn't actually have that many truly dead cards. When we have Fogs and Shivan Fires, which are the definition of dead, and I actually think we're pretty close to just conceding this game. Our one, like, tiny hope would be a expansion explosion resolving, but that seems pretty unlikely with the amount of cards our opponent can see now. Scries 3 to the bottom. But we'll give it one more draw step. I mean, you never know. Maybe we just top deck it and our opponent somehow doesn't have it. Opponent thinking, untapping, maybe untapping. All right, they figured it out. Mortifies Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, that's a good example of our opponent's dead cards not being dead. Opponent passes. Yeah, all right. And we'll call it a day. I mean, the tiny bit of good news is we do have some stuff in the sideboard, which is good here. Actually, quite a bit of stuff. 2 Nib Mizzets, 3 Fire Mines Research, possibly Spell Pierces and Negates. We get to get rid of all the Root Snares. We get to get rid of all the Shivan Fires. We get to go down... Now this is where it gets a little trickier. Go down... What? Maybe like Radical Idea, and Murmuring Mystic seems like it's just always gonna die. Yeah, let's go down a couple Mystics. Try it like that. Huh. Alright, on to game 2 with our control stuff in. And yeah, we'll play first. Alright. I mean... all these tap lands. I was gonna say we had a turn 2 Fire Mines Research, but technically we don't. Wow, more tap lands. Rootbound Crag go. Well, We might actually be pretty punished for having all these tap lands. Oh, what do we even do? We play something, it gets countered. Yeah, this happens in Standard sometimes, well. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna play it. Ooh, it resolved, alright. Well, we did get down our Firemind's research, for the moment at least. Thief of Sanity. Oh, we're so done. Well, let's opt. Resolves. Sulfur Falls, I don't even know if it matters. I don't really want more tap lands. Stomping Grounds tapped. Pass the turn. Ugh, Thief of Sanity was the card we really did not want to see on turn 3 from our opponent's deck. That is not great for us. Very not great. Opponent, gonna get in with Thief of Sanity. Yep. Gets to steal one of our cards, and all of our cards are good in a control deck. Every single card in our deck is something our opponent's going to want in their hand, minus our lands. So this is painful. Mill's a radical idea. Maybe we should have left in removal. Just, it's so rough. I don't know how we actually do that. Well, that's a radical idea. Discard Chemist's Insight. Trigger Firemind's Research. Wow, opponent Spell Pierces it? Okay. We untap. So opponent pretty clearly representing a counter. Well, let's opt. Trigger Firemind's Research. Breeding Pool bottom. Play Rootbound Crag. And yeah, pass the turn. I think our hope now is that this Firemind's Research is going to kill Thief of Sanity eventually. Oh, that was our Spell Pierce. Well, I thought our cards were good for our opponent's deck. Opponent. Land. And goes to combat. Gets it. Yep. Gets to steal one of our cards. Ugh, Thief of Sanity. Well, that's why you have them in your sideboard, is exactly to do this. Well, 2 lands were milled, so hopefully the card our opponent got was not insane. Oh. Alright, well. Good game.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
Going to tuck our Firemind's Research. Well, draw a card. Breeding Pool.
Slow down.
I'll play Breeding Pool untapped. Full control mode. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Resolves. Go to the end of our turn. Float some mana. Untap. Expansion Explosion for 4. Kill Teferi. Draw 4. Alright. I mean, this is something. Alright, hand is full. Pass the turn. I mean, our opponent does need to deal with Wilderness Reclamation. They can't just let that sit out there. They will. That will be able to win the game. Land for our opponent. Gonna get in with Thief of Sanity. Well, we got through one threat, but there's still a super obnoxious Thief of Sanity going to town on our library. Mills 2 lands. Opponent has their own Wilderness Reclamation. Actually, our own Wilderness Reclamation. Opponent has 5 cards and our card. How do we do this? Well, let's play Firemind's Research. Resolves. Play Murmuring Mystic. Resolves. Sulfur Falls. Opponent. Alright. Kills our Murmuring Mystic. Well, go to the end of turn. Float a mana. Untap. And we gotta get rid of Thief of Sanity. So expansion explosion, X2. Kill, draw. Yep. Resolves. Resolves. Couple of lands. I'll pass the turn. Hopefully our opponent does not have another Teferi. Godless Shrine untapped. Chemist's Insight. Resolves. Another Thief of Sanity. Opponent untaps. Well, let's grow Spiral. Get a counter. Put a Hinterland Harbor into play. Put a Rootbound Crag into play. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Opponent casts Chemist's Insight. Okay. Looking for a counter, I guess? Who resolves? Alright. Well. Go to the end of turn. Float our mana. Oh, we gotta do this without timing out is the hard part. Float our mana. Untap. Chemist's Insight. Draw a couple cards. Get a counter. Yup. And then we... Chemist's Insight. Draw a couple cards. Oh, no timing out, no timing out. Resolves, get a counter. Radical idea. Get a counter. Yup. Draw a card. That's a Niv for next turn. Okay, so untap our... Oh, we should have floated. Oops. Well, kill Thief of Sanity. Yeah, we did that slightly wrong. So Thief of Sanity... Down. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Alright. Alright. It's gonna be a battle. The Wilderness Reclamation War. Another Thief of Sanity. So many Thief of Sanities. Alright. And another Thief of Sanity. Well, that's Chemist's Insight. Discard Stomping Grounds. Get a counter. Draw 2 cards. Alright, resolves. Land for our opponent. Passes. Untaps. Well, it's Niv Mizzet time. So we untap. We play Steam Vents. Untapped. We play Niv Mizzet. Now we pass the turn. We're on the end of turn plan here. So end of turn, triggers. We float mana. Untap. Now we radical idea. Oh, we're gonna time out trying to do this, aren't we? Oh, double trigger. Oh, we're definitely timing out. Resolve. Resolve. Oh, we're so timing out here. Ping our opponent. I guess we gotta turn off full control. Hopefully this is okay. Oh, we can't turn off full control or we lose our combo. All right. Ping our opponent. Resolves. Chemister's Insight. Discard Hinterland Harbor. Trigger, trigger. Resolve. Ping our opponent. Oh my goodness. Please no timing out. Resolves. We draw 2. We also have to not mill out. Ping Thief of Sanity. Ping Thief of Sanity. Growth Spiral. Trigger, trigger. Maybe we should just be going fully face here. Resolve. Ping our opponent. 14 cards in our deck. Okay. Growth Spiral resolves. We draw a card. We put a land into play. We ping our opponent. Resolves. 13 cards in our library. Growth Spiral. Trigger, trigger. Resolves. Resolves. Oh, if we had more time, we would be doing the math. Because I think there's a chance that we can just storm kill, but ping our opponent. Resolves. Ping our opponent. Oh, put a land into play. Yep. 2 life, sure. Oh, now we're getting close to timing out. Ping our opponent. Yep, resolves. Growth Spiral. Trigger, trigger. Everyone's timing out. Why is there so much timing out going on? Ping our opponent. Yep, draw a card. Draw with Growth Spiral. Breeding Pool. Yep. Tapped. Ping our opponent. Float our mana. Wilderness Reclamation resolves. If I wasn't worried about timing out, I'm pretty confident that we would win here. Hit our opponent for 5. Resolves. And alright, let's just pass. I'm too worried about timing out. Discard Firemind's Research, Wilderness Reclamation. Huh, alright. And now we can opt. Trigger, trigger. Ping our opponent. Sure, Chemister's Insight. Ping our opponent. I mean, we do have this. Oh, the timing of this deck is very weird on Arena. 7 cards in our deck. I mean, as soon as we get priority, we can just combo win. We have the spells. We have all of our negates in hand. This is going to close out the game. Man, this has been some weird matches. Opponent. Well, let's opt. Trigger, trigger. Resolves. Ping our opponent. Steam Vents, doesn't matter. Sure. Ping our opponent. 5 cards in our deck. And then we just Radical Idea. Discard Steam Vents. Trigger, trigger. Huh! Alright. Resolves. Ping, ping. And, well, it took some doing, but that's the power of the deck. I mean, especially after sideboarding. Ping our opponent. And that was a wild game. Okay, so we're learning something. Honestly, I don't know if I would recommend this deck on Magic Arena. That sounds weird to say, but I'm actually not sure that you wanna play this on Arena. It is tricky. It is, the timing out aspect is way harder than I would have imagined. You can do it. Obviously, we didn't time out, but it is, you're on edge kind of the whole time trying to play it. So, I don't know. I mean, the deck does really cool things, but it also is a little bit nerve-wracking. So we're going to go down the Spell Pierces, I think, for a couple Shivan Fires. We can't just, well, let's go down one more Radical Idea for a Spell Pierce. We can't just let our opponent kill us with a Thief of Sanity, which is almost what happened last game. They came pretty close to just beating us straight up like that. Alright, on to game 3 in the crazy control mirror, and we're gonna keep this. 1 land is sketchy, but we got a million lands in the deck, and we got to opt, and we got to grow Spiral, so we should be... Alright, so Breeding Pool. Untapped. Pass the turn. Tap land. Well, let's opt. Definitely to the bottom with Wilderness Reclamation. Into a land. Well, play Sulfur Falls. Pass the turn. Land for our opponent. Do they have Thief of Sanity? Thought Eraser. Huh. Well, let's grow Spiral. Ooh, that is a second Reclamation. Alright. Well, looks like we're getting down to Reclamation, whether our opponent likes it or not. And now we might be in decent shape. I mean, I guess they could have Spell Pierce. It seems somewhat unlikely. Opponent leaves it on top. Passes. Well, play Sulfur Falls. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Pass the turn. Untap to leave up our Negate and our Expansion Explosion. Opponent. Drown Catacombs. And passes? Can we play around Mortify? We're gonna draw. If our opponent mortifies in response, then okay. Draw, draw. Untap. Ooh, Shivan Fire is nice too. Play Rootbound Crag. Play Firemind's Research. Alright, pass the turn. End of turn, float our mana. Untap. Are we fighting? No. Alright, and then let's just Chemister's Insight. Draw a couple cards. Get a counter. And we might actually be in pretty good shape here. The power of Wilderness Reclamation on the battlefield in these control mirrors is really, really insanely high. All right, opponent draws 2. We're going to let that go. We draw 2. Well, I mean, pass the turn. 2 lands is actually not the end of the world. We don't mind hitting our land drops. Bone it. Basilica Bellhaunt. Well, that was not 100% expected. Let's Chemister's Insight. Discard Steam Fence. Get a counter. Bellhaunt resolves. We will discard Breeding Pool. Plains for our opponent passes. Whew, that's another Wilderness Reclamation. Well, play Rootbound Crag. Play... Go into full control mode. Play Wilderness Reclamation. Resolves. Play Firemind's Research. Resolves. Go to the end of our turn. Trigger, trigger. Untap our lands. Chemist's Insight. Discard Shivan Fire. Trigger. Yup. So we draw 2. Radical Idea. Trigger. And we're just like enchantmenting off here. And we have Niv for next turn, which is absurd. Ooh, second negate's nice. Alright, untap. Pass. I mean, if our opponent taps out and we can Niv unchallenged, we probably win next turn. Opponent. Land untapped. Okay. I feel like we're in good shape. Double Wilderness Reclamation is just, we have so much more mana than our opponent, and that's basically what we're leveraging. Mortifies. Well, we will negate. Trigger. Opponent absorbs. Well, we will negate the absorb. Trigger. And I think that does it. Oh man, we get to do craziness this turn. Counter. Yup. Okay. Opponent gets in for 3, sure. Well, let's 5 our opponent's face. Land is good. Play Sulfur Falls. Go full control. Play Niv Mizzet. And I think this should do it. So Niv Mizzet comes down. Pass our turn. End of turn. Trigger. Float our mana. Yup. Untap everything. Float all of our mana. Untap everything. So this is 6, 7, 8. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Well, let's just kill our opponent. I think that doubling up, or essentially doubling this Expansion Explosion, thanks to Niv. So Expansion Explosion. So we have 15 mana. So we can go X11. X11. Target our opponent. We will draw the cards. And trigger doesn't matter. Go into the phase, and here comes a ton of Niv Mizzet triggers. Yup. So no timing out. Click. We got the GGs. Good game to you, opponent. Scoops it up, and that is the power of the deck. Man, maybe Niv should just be in the main deck, because Niv was absurd there. That allowed us to win the control mirror pretty much by itself. Well, the deck can do some really cool things when it gets going and does its stuff. Like when we hit our land drops and have multiple Wilderness Reclamations going, the deck is insane. Wow, that was a crazy match. What a match. All right. Sweet. All right. Goldfish Gladiator time. We are on to round number 4 with Temur Mystic, Temur Control. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan. Too many 4-drops. All right. Well, this hand is slow, but it does offer a big expansion. Growth Chamber is literally the perfect card we could draw. This speeds things up by an entire turn. Now we get to turn 2 Growth Spiral, turn 3 Wilderness Reclamation, turn 4 Expansion Explosion for at least 4. So let's Sulfur Falls, Growth Spiral. Put a Stomping Grounds into play, tapped. Well, this might make us fast enough to keep up with Mono Red, even without having any real life gain. Opponent. Mountain. Runaway Steamkin. Well, yeah. Steam Vents, untapped. Wilderness Reclamation. Pass the turn. Untap. And we'll see what happens. We're down to 18. This Root Snare will probably be helpful at some point. Mountain. Fanatical Firebrand. Grows the Steamkin. Yep. And opponent. Gonna go attacking. I'm I'm so tempted to just root snare. Yeah, let's root snare. Ugh. We dropped to 15. This feels us a light up the stage as well. And then if we don't draw land, we kill Steamkin. Yeah, let's root snare. Sort of a weird way to play this, but because of light up the stage, this gives us a bit of extra value. Opponent passes. Oh. Okay. Well, new plan. Murmuring Mystic. Pass the turn. Untap. Opponent just lightning strikes our face. Alright, untap our lands. Well, here we go. What can you do, opponent? They do have a Steamkin that can make some mana. Maybe we're going to regret not just explosioning it. We will see. Risk factor. We will take it. Down to 11. Oh, we might still just be dying, aren't we? Maybe we should have just killed Steamkin. We'll see. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Well, that's Chemister's Insight. Make a bird. Draw some cards. Block the Steamkin. Yep. Opponent pings us. Down to 10. If they remove counters, they die. Not having life gain is... Alright, there's a light up the stage. Well, skewer the critics for next turn. Well, pass the turn. This is going to be sketchy. No attacks. Go to the end of turn. Float our mana. Blue, red, red, blue. Untap. Opponent risk factors. And I think we have to let our opponent draw, unfortunately. Opponent draws. We untap. Explosion for 4. Kill Steamkin. We'll see. Opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. We know there's a skewer. They do need damage to go with it. Mountain. The challenging part is we don't really have any life gain. Shane Whirler. Kills our bird, pings us, turns on skewer. Light up the stage. Lava Runner Lightning Strike. Skewer. Down to 6. How can we get out of this? So play Hinterland Harbor. Grow Spiral. Make a bird. Put a Rootbound Crag into play. Yeah, Murmuring Mystic. No attacks. Well, let's see if we get burnt out. That seems very likely. Opponent has 1 Lightning Strike, so any Lightning Strike effect in hand and we're dead. Otherwise, we're going to do our best to try to win next turn. Not sure that we get there with just 1 Wilderness Reclamation. We might end up just a tiny bit short. Well, our opponent hasn't killed us yet. Alright, Lightning Strike to 3. Chain Whirler to 2. Yep. Mountain. And Lava Runner. Yup. Opponent. No attacks. So, radical idea. Draw a card. Make a couple birds. radical idea. Discard a steam vents. Make a couple birds. Draw steam vents. Root snare. Make a couple birds. Alright. Chemister's Insight. Well, go to combat. Attack with all of our birds. Hit our opponent for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't win this turn, though. So hit our opponent for 6. Chemister's Insight. Draw a couple cards, make a couple birds. I guess we just have to hope to fade a burn spell, basically. Play Stomping Grounds. Radical idea. Make some birds. I mean, we're going crazy with the birds. We win next turn for sure. Do we get a next turn? Untap pass. No bird. No bird. No bird. Creatures are fine. Lands are fine. No burn spells. That's all we ask. Well, that creature's not fine. I'm not sure. Yeah, alright. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in our deck that changes this, honestly. I'm pretty sure there's not. Make some birds. Well, we were close. We were one turn too slow. The bad news is I feel like we don't have much to interact with mono red, honestly, which might be more of an issue on Arena than in paper. Although, I mean, red is fine everywhere. But it's especially heavily played on Arena because of budget concerns. Ugh, 1 point of life. Yeah, so I feel like our sideboard is not very helpful here. I mean, Raptor Hatchling gives us a good blocker. That's nice. The bigger issue is just how do we not get burnt out? That's the challenge. We're going to cut the radical ideas. I guess we'll go up the negates. Negate at least is something that can stop us from dying to a burn spell. Root Snare is probably a necessary evil. Yeah. We also can't bring in too many counters because they can't just win without their burn spells as well. And we do need our card draw for our deck to function. Alright, run it like that. Run it like that. Ugh, maybe a touch of life gain in the sideboard could go a long way. Based on that game, we were like 1 turn or 1 point of damage away from winning. Well, alright, we'll keep. This hand doesn't do anything specifically good against the red deck, but I mean, it's got card draw and ramp, which is something. Mountain. Opponent. Firebrand. Well, let's opt. Well, we probably got to keep Root Snare. That could be a thing that buys us a turn at some point. Fanatical Firebrand. Gonna get him for 1. Yup. Down to 19. Well, there's a Mystic. Play Hinterland Harbor. Pass the turn. Well, now I guess we're hoping we hit a land to play this Mystic and then just try to go wide. Opponent. Combat. Gets in. Yup. Down to 18. There's light up the stage. Busted Magic card. Land. And Lava Runner. Well. Grow Spiral. Stomping Grounds tapped. Not a land, though. Opponent passes. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. What do we do? What do we do? So we can shock ourselves to play Murmuring Mystic. We know there's a Skewer. There's a bunch of creatures. Skewer might just kill our Mystic. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, yeah. Breeding Pool, Mystic. I think this is all we can do. Pass the turn. I guess if our opponent has to spend 2 burn spells on Murmuring Mystic, maybe that's not the end of the world. Land for our opponent. At least that's 2 burn spells that are not hitting our face. Although, once Mystic dies, I'm not actually sure. I don't know what we do if that happens. Well, we'll see. We'll see what our opponent does. Opponent. Lava Runner. Lava Runner. Pings. Turns on Skewer. Skewers. Yup. Well, we're going to be at 8. We block a Lava Runner. Drop to 8. Still no life gain. Shivan Fire. Well, let's opt to see if we hit a land. Make a bird. Well, keep Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool tapped. Pass the turn. Ooh, burn spells. 8 is not a lot in a world of 12 lightning strikes. Mountain. 3 cards in hand. We're not going to die to the creatures anytime soon. Fight with fire on our Murmuring Mystic. Well, we need to Shivan Fire a Lava Runner. Growth Spiral. Put a Breeding Pool into play tapped. Well, there goes our Mystic. Opponent. Attacks. Well, block, block, and block. Yup. Down to 8. Shivan Fire. Well, yeah, main phase, Chemist's Insight. Play Hinterland Harbor. Pass the turn. Well, we got Wilderness Reclamation for next turn. We don't have a payoff, though. Mountain. Well, that's not bad. Oh, this is going to be so close again. Opponent. Lava Runner. Well, Shivan Fire. Kill it. Risk Factor. Alright, opponent gets to draw, unfortunately. Back up to 4 cards in hand. Steamkin. Yup. Opponent. Passes. Well, play Wilderness Reclamation. Pass the turn. Float some mana. Untap. Chemist's Insight. Discard the land. Not feeling too confident. Oh, this feels like a tough matchup. Draw. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. So, we get to cast a big but not lethal Expansion Explosion next turn. We need 2 turns, and once again, we might just be a turn short. Chain Whirler. Grow Steamkin. Hits us. Yup. 7. Skewer, of course, down to 4. Mountain. Opponent. Attacks. Well. Yeah, we'll Root Snare. Opponent passes. Play Sulfur. Oh my goodness. Play Sulfur Falls. Huh. What is our path to victory? It is very narrow. So pass the turn. Tap our lands. This is a matchup where I bet having a bunch of Nexus of Fades actually would help a lot. So tap our lands, untap. Tap our lands. So we can Expansion Explosion for 10. Alright. Well, go for 10. We need to draw into a fog. Actually, you know what? I think we go 8. Yeah, let's go 8, because this gives us the possibility of also drawing Negate for Risk Factor. So, 8 our opponent, draw 8. Yep. So we need to hit a fog for sure, or we're dead. And also, preferably a negate for the risk factor. Well, here we go. 8 cards. Our ideal is another expansion explosion, a negate, and a fog. Lightning strike to 1. Yup. Well, what do we draw? Alright, well. Discard Breeding Pool Steam Fence. So, we hit the fog, but we did not hit a negate. Which means if our opponent draws any burn, Chain Whirlers, Pyromancers, there's not a lot. There's not a lot that that they can whiff on with this risk factor, honestly. Well, they get to see 3 cards. Hopefully they can't kill us. If they can't kill us, we're drawing pretty live for next turn. Risk factor discards a shock. Interesting. Okay. Well. Alright. Let's see what your 3 are. Land, 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 please. Prevent the damage. Opponent. Hit the Pyromancer. Yup. And that does it. Well, that feels like a really tough matchup for this build of the deck. The combination of Chain Whirlers to deal with our birds, along with not having any life gain, makes it feel like this build is a little bit rough against mono red in specific. We have a decent shot, I think, against aggro, but against aggro with a ton of burn spells, that's the problem. We can get to the point where we stabilize the board, but we can't stabilize the board and also beat the counters. So, well, we finished with a 2-2, which not a thrilling record. Yeah, I mean, we get our money back, we get a few gems. So Temur Control, it does some crazy things. It is pretty clunky to play on Arena with just how it works in the full control mode. So that's kind of a vote against it, and it feels rough against red, but, well, that's stuff we can talk about in the wrap-up. So, well, I mean, that's Temur Control. It's interesting, at least. So what do we learn this week about Temur Control in Standard? And overall, we finished with a 2-2 record. So we played a traditional constructed tournament on Arena, and got our 2 losses after 2 wins, which, I mean, 50% win rate, that's not horrible. It's also not great or exciting. So the deck, oh my goodness, it is very powerful when it's doing its thing. We saw kind of like the good news, bad news. So good news is the deck is really powerful. It can take over the game out of nowhere with Wilderness Reclamation. A great example of this is when we played against the Esper Control deck, and we were able to just generate so much more mana than our opponent that we could easily pull ahead once we had a Wilderness Reclamation on the battlefield. We could just cast so many more things compared to our opponent that we could overwhelm them, even with them having Teferis and so forth. So that's the power of Wilderness Reclamation. That and just a potential nut draw of playing it like on turn 3 after Growth Spiraling, huge expansion explosion on turn 4 to like draw 6, deal 6, and then potentially just do it again the next turn. So you get a really good nut draw, and once the deck gets going, it's very strong. On the other hand, we saw kind of the downside of the deck. One downside is we do get some weird hands, especially after sideboarding, where we just have a lot of expensive cards. A lot of Chemist's Insights, Wilderness Reclamations, expansion explosions, and those hands can be kind of clunky. We lost 1 game because we just couldn't hit our 4th land. We had 3 lands, we're a 25 land deck, and we just never got our 4th land, while we had a pile of Wilderness Reclamations and Insights and so forth. So there can be some clunkiness there, even with all of our ops and radical ideas and so forth. We have a lot of cards in the 4-drop slot, and some even more expensive. The other thing we ran into is the mono red matchup. Boy, that's a tough one. It feels so incredibly close. Both of our games against mono red, in the match we lost, it felt like we were a turn away, or even like a single damage away from being able to kill our opponent, but they always got there just in time before we could kill them. So that matchup feels a little bit difficult. We can win if we just get a really fast draw, but we don't really have any life gain. We don't have a ton that interacts specifically with that deck. The problem there is we're good at stopping creature decks thanks to Root Snare. We can buy time, combo off, do our thing, block with Murmuring Mystic. That stabilizes the board against a lot of aggro decks, but against mono red, they have so much reach in the form of burn spells that plan doesn't work as well against mono red. We can stabilize the board, but then mono red's like, sure, make a bunch of bird tokens, I don't really care, fog us out, I don't really care, I'm just gonna skewer your face, risk factor you, do that kind of stuff to close out the game. So we saw the deck be really powerful. We also saw it be clunky and struggle against aggro. So I feel like the deck, it has potential. Wilderness Reclamation, it's going to be broken at some point. Is this the exact build that breaks it? Probably not. It does do some good things. The expansion explosion synergy, really nice. Murmuring Mystic, good payoff. So I think pieces of a strong Wilderness Reclamation deck are in this deck, but I don't feel like it's 100% there yet, or even maybe like 75% there. It feels like a really rough early draft, and an archetype that's going to have to develop across the course of Standard. So while the deck itself probably kind of middling, I guess, in terms of power level, I feel like it's definitely worth building around, because if you could get it set just right to be able to deal with those bad matchups, be able to consistently do its thing, which it's pretty good at with all the card draw, the power level is very, very high. So that's the upside. The other thing I wanted to mention is this deck is a bit clunky on Magic Arena. So to play this deck at all, really, like the whole reason to play this deck is the tap your lands to float mana, untap them with Wilderness Reclamation, tap them again on your end step. You have to go into full control mode, and once you're in full control mode, you gotta like manually do everything, so then the clock starts coming into play, especially if you're trying to cast a bunch of spells or you have multiple Wilderness Reclamations. So there is some challenges or clunkiness with just how this deck works and how Magic Arena works. And not a knock on Arena or a knock on the deck, it just works in such an odd way compared to most decks where you're trying to do everything on your end step, that Arena just isn't really specifically designed to have a lot of interaction on the end step the way the client is set up. So that's something to bear in mind as well. It's slow, and if you're going to try to grind the ladder with this deck or something like that, be warned that while you can definitely win a lot of games with it, it's going to take some time to get there, and you're going to have to be pretty comfortable going in and out of full control mode. You can't just stay in it all the time, because then the game takes forever and you probably will time out. So you got to get really comfortable with jumping into full control mode at the right time to do what you need to do on your end step, but then going back out of full control mode in time to not time out or have the game go incredibly long and just take forever. So there are some interesting challenges, but on the other hand, if you are looking to just improve your skills at playing Arena as a video game, this is actually a pretty good deck for it. It's going to force you to interact on the stack, potentially force you to stack triggers. It's going to force you to go in and out of full control mode. So if you want to play a deck where it's going to force you to get better at using the Arena client, this deck is going to do it, because you can't just use Auto Tapper, throw down spells in your main phase, let things happen. You gotta actually get into the nitty gritty nuts and bolts of the client, and the deck kind of forces you to do that. So while it's a drawback as far as just cruising through fast games, if you want a challenging deck that is going to make you more proficient with jumping in and out of full control mode and stuff, Temur Control's pretty good at that as well. So anyway, I think overall, I wish our record was a little better. We played some absurd, really sweet, awesome games. So there was cool things that happened. The deck did really powerful things, also did some clunky things. I feel like something is here. We just haven't really found exactly the right 75 yet. So keep an eye for Wilderness Reclamation, Expansion Explosion, some of these synergies moving forward, because I wouldn't be surprised if someone finds the exact perfect build and the deck is busted in top tier and standard, but it's going to take some work and brewing to get there, because it's a tricky deck to build. So anyway, that's been Temur Control. That's been our Goldfish Gladiators for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.